Do you ever notice how someone who may be using a 2012 Mac is still using it 10 years later or 15 years later, like it was just released yesterday? Meanwhile, PC, on the other hand, is barely making it past year 4 or 5. Now, I've talked to plenty of people online, and as well as people give me comments all the time about how they have older Macs. They're using them left and right, and the Macs seem to last much longer. Well, in this video, I'm going to talk to you about how the Mac just simply outlasts the PC, right? It's just longer battery life, longer life in general. Hi, my name is Brett with Anvil Music and Media. Thank you so much for joining this video. Please subscribe to the channel and like this video when you get a chance. I'm just gonna have a candid talk with you about Macs versus PCs. Now, this comes from my opinion. I know I'm gonna ruffle a lot of feathers out there, you guys that own PCs and build your own towers, all of that good stuff. I'm gonna talk about that as well. But let's get right into the video. Now, Apple has a closed ecosystem. So this closed ecosystem allows, basically, you can transfer information, files, documents, software across your Macs. This closed ecosystem allows you to just seamlessly be able to work inside and outside your Macs. PCs, I mean, not so much. I mean, with PC, honestly, you have so many different brands of PC. You got HP, you've got, I mean, I'm not even gonna name half of them. Number one, because I don't know half of them because there's so many out there. But you can imagine the ecosystem of the Mac versus the PC. Like the PC has so many different chips, so many different brand names, so many different items or screens that they use, GPUs they use. Mac recently, of course, transitioned to their own chip, which is all 100% Mac, right? You don't necessarily have to worry about sort of integrating your software and having issues with it because it's all made by Mac. It's just easy to use altogether. Now, I want to go back, and I really want to go back to the years of around 2015 to 2018. These years have been some of the best Mac producing years that I've seen. Now, these years were the transition from the Intel Mac to the Silicon Mac or the M chip Macs. Some of the best Macs that you can ever imagine. I have as many Macs as you can count on your fingers, right? But most of my Macs I'm using right now, one specifically is a 2015, the other is a 2017 or so. So you can imagine, like, I'm using this Mac for heavy intensive programs that I could not see on a PC. Now, of course, I would like to say I really don't want to down the PC users too bad, but PC, of course, you can build your towers, right? You have the flexibility, which we're missing on the Mac side, to be able to build up your RAM, your storage. Mac used to be able to have that freedom and flexibility. That's no longer with Mac because of the M chips. So you can see how one may outweigh the other in pros and cons. Let's get into some more. So the history about the computers that I've owned. The first MacBook I owned had about like 82 gigs of storage in it. I think it had 8 gigs of RAM. I mean, it was super expensive. It was like $2,600. Basically, I couldn't do anything with that Mac. I think at the time in production, I was using a software called Reason, which, it was like, your basic music software. That's about all that I was able to accomplish with that Mac. And I think over the years, what has happened is Macs have become more inexpensive for people to use. When I first started, they were super expensive. So, I mean, it just made sense to have a PC versus a Mac. But if you're doing graphics and you're into music production, all of that good stuff, the stuff that really is going to show your Mac's worth, or it's going to really show how much you need another computer if you don't get the right programs to sort of assist you. So, I mean, that's sort of the history of the computers that I've owned, but you really need to understand the reason why Macs really outlast the PC. And I really believe it is because the ecosystem just there's more flexibility on the Mac side. And it may not seem like flexibility to you, but the flexibility is that if you can go from a MacBook to iMac and you can interconnect your items. I just did some editing on some stuff in my videos today. And of course, the networks allow for that. But I'm just saying that the sensitivity that Mac has sort of taken the road towards making sure that you can seamlessly work. It's like you have a seamless workload. You're more efficient and more effective with your production, right? We got to be more effective with our production, right? So you got to understand that all of these programs, especially if you're a graphic artist, if you're into video editing, it's very vital that you just get a Mac, right, over a PC. Like I would not go backwards, right? Especially if you have, an iPhone. If you already have an iPhone, why not get the whole system? I was recently talking to a friend of mine who was explaining to me he had such a hard time transitioning over to the Mac computer. Now, the same friend has the iPhone, he has the iPad, he has an iWatch, but he said for some reason he cannot sort of get used to the combinations of how Mac, all the commands and the Apple this, Apple S, all of that stuff. And for a while, me personally, I was the same way. Like I would use PC during the day at work, and then at night for production, I would go to Mac. And it was sort of like, I've got different combinations jumbled up in my brain. But I really think the end of it is really just the learning curve of it. You just got to be consistent with how you work and your workflow. And you should be able to seamlessly transition from Mac to PC throughout the day. It's really no problem. Well, how about this? Like PC is also, it's a really bad product for the reason of there's so many different vendors out there. So many different vendors. You got your GPU, you got your graphics cards, you got your RAM. There are probably thousands upon thousands of different vendors that you get to choose from. Now, on the other hand, some of you may think of this as a positive, right? Because if I get to choose what I want to, that means I can shop enough. Well, for me, I don't have the time. I don't have the time. Let me just buy what I need to buy, which will be a Mac computer. That is when I get one. It's probably going to be a while because, like I said, computers that I have are working and they're working just fine for the years that I've had them. But if I want to get a computer, I'm definitely going to get a Mac, and I'm definitely going to make sure that the RAM and the storage is going to grow with me as I grow. Now, Macs can operate optimally from about 6 to 8 years. PCs, on the other hand, I only give them about a 4-year lifespan. Now, you could still use it, but I'm going to tell you, I've had parents that I've switched over to Macs just because the PC, at one point in time, you would have issues with software and issue with internet malware that would attach itself to PCs because, most 80% of the malware was generated for PC. That's no longer the case now. You can still get malware on your Mac, but, you just be careful for that. But, overall, to me, Mac is just still the better, more efficient product. Now, I will say that I do design and I produce music. I also I edit, so a lot of what I'm saying is skewed, and I understand that. But I've been able to, the things that I can really do well on the Mac, if I have to do something simple like writing or whatever, I'm now using my Mac for literally everything. 100% of what I do, 100% of what I produce, right? So you just have to, it's all opinional, but at the end of the day, it's really what you get, what you pay for, right? You get absolutely what you pay for. If you're going to purchase a PC, you can go down to the store, local store, and the range is from $300 to $1,000 or $1,500. I personally would not pay more than $1,000 for a PC. I'm not going to get one anyway, but with Macs, you're starting at least $1,000. Now, I will say this: there has been a Mac that has been released that has been economical enough for you or I to even look at, to be able to purchase, to buy. This Mac is, I can't remember the price of it. I think it's like right around $799 or something. That just was released. You can look it up. I believe it's it has the M4 chip. Very inexpensive Mac. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But Mac is becoming more and more inexpensive and even faster and faster. So you got to watch out for that. Not to mention all of the things that are coming, all of the updates that are coming to iPhones and iPads. Technology is just growing exponentially, right? It's just absolutely growing exponentially. What I want you to do is in the comments, drop a comment. Let me know your opinion about this. Do you think PCs outlast Mac? You can't possibly believe that, right? Unless you're some computer guru or tech that builds your own towers. But let me know what you think about this. Also, if you have any questions about the video, please, I want you to join me. So I'm actually live every Tuesday and every Friday of every week. We go live. We have a community that we're just in constant communication on the live, and we're talking back and forth. Please feel free to join me on this every Tuesday morning, about 6:30 Eastern time, and on Friday at the same time. So we're talking about everything from AI, and it's like the world is just changing. Like AI is really changing the game. I've got some videos that I've got coming up on AI, even though this video is not necessarily about that. But you got to be in the know. You got to know what's going on in terms of technology, because what is happening is we're living in a time where AI is exponentially growing, and the systems of AI are growing faster than the regulations that we can sort of put against what has been taking place. So that's going to be interesting to see how AI and government sort of clash heads. But in the meantime, go Mac, go Apple, PC. You got a long ways to go. I don't even think the PC is as sexy as the Mac. You can sort of argue me on that, even with the word, right? But it's just the truth. Like, Mac is such a better product. Man, leave in the comments if you think otherwise, right? Let me know the computers that you've owned. If you own a Mac, if you own a PC, let me know what you use it for. Just give me your opinion, because this is all opinional, but we want to get the discussion going on. I appreciate you guys for joining the video, and I will see you next time.